press them or criticize them in some future process.
So it is possible that, as Comey said, Russia gave you the leaks through an intermediary.
I'm simply not going to comment on it.
Okay. Well, my view of this is that during the campaign, WikiLeaks often suggested that Trump would be less dangerous than Clinton.
No, we didn't.
I think you did.
No, we didn't.
I think that concept is wildly, gruesomely mistaken. There was the argument. Well, it's
fine for you to say that, but you should understand that no, we didn't. In fact, I was asked that question directly on Democracy Now! At the time about what my position was, asked which one I preferred, and my response is, being asked this question is being asked, do I prefer cholera or do I prefer gonorrhea?
Okay, well, let's say if you frame it that way, the idea that the two...
Historical revisionism. Historical revisionism is occurring, and you understand why it is occurring, because the Democratic Party had, I think it's lost now, but the Democratic Party had a moment for very important internal reform after its epic loss to Donald Trump. A very disliked candidate as far as the polling is concerned. So the Democratic Party had an epic loss. Who was responsible for that epic loss? Well, that Democratic Party was, and its various structures, its institutions, etc.
The Democrats are responsible for that epic loss, no question.
But if was those people telling the public the truth. If those people are not responsible, people take the truth and they absorb it and they think about it and they do what they want with it. And the reality is the American people so disliked what was being offered to them by the Democratic Party that they decided that they preferred to blow it all up rather than have...
Okay, first of all, this is a good illustration of how hard-headed... I mean, this guy believes everything he's saying. And yet he's so wrong, huh? And Assange just simply has the truth on his side. I mean, Assange isn't out to tear anybody a new ass. As a matter of fact, I don't even really think he's so political as everybody thinks he is. I think he's a crusader for the truth and trying to use, I mean, WikiLeaks is his life, you know. I don't think he's ultra-left, or I think he's more about transparency and the freedom that transparency and knowledge to the masses can bring us, you know. But this guy, he wants so much to believe that his position, that you know, people like me were mean-hearted or stupid for not backing Hillary, and of course we're all responsible for Trump, you know, and yeah, we are, but he doesn't understand our reasons. What Assange just said about blowing up, you know, that's exactly what we're about. The Bernie or Bust crowd, my people in my groups, I recruit people who think like me, like-minded people, and we felt and still feel that well, one, that America needs a Trump to learn the hard lessons of life and not try to push their candidates. I mean, they cheated their way into, you know, we had the most popular candidate and we are the more popular, we're real Democrats. When did the you know, most of the Democratic Party decide that we were going to let conservatives run our party just so we could win elections? And then when does it become obvious to all the rest of the people like me in the Democratic Party that they're losers? they've got a losing philosophy. It's more Republican than it is Democrat, and I don't understand why parties are so convoluted. I mean, why do parties even have to allow, just to win elections, just to get that edge to win elections? Why? I don't believe that. I don't believe we need conservatives to win democratic elections. I don't believe that we have to run Democrats that appeal to them to win elections. I think you make up a couple of parties, or 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 parties, whatever, that represent certain demographics or whatever philosophies, the Communist Party, the Socialist Party, the Liberal Party, the Conservative Party, the Republican Party, the Democratic Party, whatever, and you get them. First of all, you make sure they're different. You just set it up that way. Democrats make up their platform, and if it turns out that the Democratic platform is exactly the same as the Socialist platform, well, then those two merge, right? I mean, this is not rocket science, and it's not like we don't have experience with all this democracy. Politics has been, it's as old as religion and a number of other things. And there are no real secrets. It's just that the conservatives convolute it to keep everybody on a knife edge, and they convolute it to keep everybody stupid, and they convolute it to hide the fact that they're getting everybody to look at their left hand so nobody sees what their right hand is doing, right? Okay, so anyway, let's listen a little bit more, because I'm getting off the subject.
Hillary Clinton, they decided they would throw the Trump grenade.
I agree with that. However, I would note that the Trump campaign thought that WikiLeaks was on their side. Now, the idea that...
That doesn't mean that WikiLeaks was on their side.
Mr. Assange just suggested that Trump and Clinton were equally dangerous, two different...
Well, now, to have a conservative movement in the Democratic Party that pretends to be representative of the Democratic Party take over, and in my opinion, they're moles. That conservatives actually went out of their way to recruit these people and tell them, join the Democratic Party, create your own conservative movement in the Democratic Party, and destroy the Democratic Party. I mean, it would just be like me if I had millions of dollars and I went around and gathered up socialists and told them, well, I want you to go and start your own movement in the Republican Party, and I want you to draw a whole bunch of socialists into your as Republicans. I mean, wouldn't that be illegal? I mean, isn't that some kind of conspiracy to commit something? I mean, I don't know, but it just seemed okay. And I'm saying that they did that. Okay, I'm a conspiracy theorist, yes. I believe that was done. But even if it wasn't, they somehow did manage, whether they were being paid by somebody or not. I mean, that's something we'd have to look into over a long period of time, a lot of study, a lot of investigation to try and really understand how all that happened back in 1992 and maybe even a little before then.
Deadly diseases, I think, is wildly and gruesomely mistaken.
No, because conservatives in the Democratic Party are a deadly disease to us. They take away our party completely from us. I mean, now we're part of a conservative. What the fuck, man? I mean, how can you do that to us? How did they do that to us? How did Hillary and Bill and all these fucking conservatives, man? I mean, yeah, they weren't conservative on the outside, you know, doing cocaine and you know, what have you, acting very kind of like rich liberals, you know, what have you. But they really ruined our party. They really tore it down. And we're supposed to just sit around and take it. You know, even though they don't represent, I bet you they don't represent more than 20% of the people in the Democratic Party. I mean, most Democrats are hard left, and some are maybe, I don't think there really is a middle of the road. And, you know, I guess the Clintons have got their own little brood, you know.
Clinton represented a criminal establishment, but Trump and the people...
See, even these Clintonistas understand
he
that.
He brought in with him make it worse. Make it...
Yeah, we know. And you know what? We want it to be worse. America needs worse. America needs to know that establishment Democrats do not have the answer. I mean, we've been waiting for the Republicans and the capitalists for 200 years with their promise that they would bring wealth for everybody, including minorities, by the way. I mean, I know they don't understand that. I know that's not part of their definition. And now we've been waiting for Democrats, establishment Democrats, Clintons, and Obama, like bomb us. Anyway, we've been waiting for them to do something, and do they help out? Probably a little bit, but maybe that's just a ploy on the side of conservatives to make them look good. But the point is that in the meantime, everybody's lost. I mean, the average American's greatest hope is to get a job at, you know, waiting tables or flipping burgers anymore, or some silly desk job that shouldn't even exist. The average income in this country has gone for like middle of the road people, and it's always sucked for poor people. But it's gone from, you know, $100,000 a year down to 40 or 30, or even, you know, the poor 20, and we know that, and they do nothing. Democrats do nothing to improve that. I mean, socialists do, like Bernie. If they could get in, they could do something. Of course, the Republicans are going to jump up and down saying they're going to destroy the country, and then once they get in, they're going to do everything to make them look bad. Okay, so what? As long as the American people get behind somebody like Bernie Sanders, and I'm not saying it should be Bernie, so whoever you want, but a lefty, somebody who's willing to fight once they get into the presidency, and also do what Bernie was talking about, which I firmly believe him or anybody like him will do. He will rally the people, and we will vote out conservatives. Republicans will even have to go to at least to the center, because they won't be able to survive, because, you know, we'll take the curtain down and we'll have a look at who's back there, you know, with the smoke and mirrors and stuff.
Even more criminal. This idea that it was just a choice between the lesser of two evils. Well, in politics, in life, you fight like hell to have good choices, to have better choices. In this case, Sanders was a better alternative. But once that is no longer possible, then of course you choose
Of course you do. No, you don't. Your bitch took away our chance to run this country and to run the Democratic Party, and gave it to a nightmare. She just would not back down. I mean, you know what? If the Democratic, if Hillary Clinton wanted to be a hero, she would have back in 2015, early 2016 said, look, Bernie is a much better person for this country than I would be. And I'm sure you'll get a woman sooner or later, but for now, I'm gonna just drop out and back Bernie. I mean, God, Trump would have been, well, he probably wouldn't have even gotten in because he probably wouldn't have had a chance. So they probably would have run a Bush or somebody, or I don't know, they're so dismal, I don't know who they'd run. But it would have been over. It would have been over before it even started, you know.
The lesser evil. What do you want? More evil? More killing?
Yes. More evil, more killing. We're going to get that with the lack of health care. And maybe these people, because somehow a lot of people, not a majority by any means, but a lot of people voted for Clinton, and they're poor too. I mean, she appealed to them and their fears, and they were afraid they might lose something. Well, they're going to lose something now, and maybe next time around, 2020 and 2018, and special elections like the one we just won down in Georgia, where 94, or down in Louisiana, where the mayor of Jacksonville or wherever it was won with 94%. I mean, he lost just a little bit before because I don't know exactly why he lost, but I'm sure it was because he didn't project himself as a progressive well enough. Anyway, there's a whole lot of information on him if you want to find out. But progressives, as long as we get out there and let people know what we're about, we'll win every time. And we'll take up 200 seats in Congress and 100 seats in, or 90 or 80 seats in the Senate. We will crush conservatism once we're able to change the biased journalism, the lamestream media, once we're able to change the ignorance, we will crush them. And we will crush establishment Democrats. I mean, we have to, in order to get to that point where we can crush Republicans, because establishment Democrats have taken our party away from us, have taken our vehicle to power away from us, and we're going to have to do it. So yeah, we want, what else does he want?
More pollution.
More pollution.
More abuse of immigrants.
More abuse of immigrants. I mean, those immigrants will be the next voters.
More racism.
More racism, yes. Black people need to get off their asses and understand that establishment Democrats don't give a fucking shit about them. People like me who aren't racist. You look at Hillary. I mean, if you knew me and you knew Hillary, because nobody really knows Hillary because she doesn't want anybody to know her, really. But I'm not a racist, but she is. I mean, look at how she had two of her highest paid people in her campaign were from the private prison system. Come on, man. I mean, what are you, fucking stupid? Stop it. Stop being so stupid. Of course you don't want to listen to Trump when he says, what do you have to lose? But Trump is right. What do you have to lose? I mean, you've got the establishment Democrats, Bill Clinton, passing the laws that created the massive prison system and help for black people that they need, not just giving them money, but helping them to stay out of jail and stuff. Anyway, I'm not going to get into all that, but yes, we want it worse and worse and worse for everybody, including me. I mean, this is going to be horrible on me if they knock me off of health insurance. I don't have any money. I'm going to be fucked. And I'm going to be fucked in every way. I'm poor, okay? Yes, I've managed to get my things that I need, but I'm poor. I only get a couple $100 a month, and I just have to kind of get help where I can. Other words, no, I'm not poor like some people, where they're sitting out on a curb waiting to trying to figure out where their next meal will come from. Thank God I'm not. But I'm poor enough. I mean, I've had to learn about trying to get money when you don't have money. I mean, I'm 56 years old, and I've been screwed over and over and over. I've never had a good paying job in my life. Got out of college with a degree in business, and the only job that I could find was parking cars. I mean, I'm not gonna, don't cry for me. I'm not bad off. But what I'm saying is I'm gonna suffer from this, but not for long. And you know why I won't suffer for long? Because this is the kick in the ass that Americans need to support a guy like Bernie. And it would have never happened if Hillary had won. Shillery. The shill for all the corporations and Wall Street banks and all that. It would have never happened. Never happened. Now we have a chance of it happening. Trump is just the kick in the ass we need.
More impunity for corporations, more aid to death squads, more...
Yeah. More and more. Make it as bad as you fucking can.
Spending for the military. All of that is what you get with Trump, in distinction.
Oh, yeah. Now, we wouldn't get any of that with Hillary, would we?
To the other bad things you would have gotten with Clinton. And the win of Clinton was not, the victory of Trump was not equally as bad as it would have been if Clinton had lost. It's a catastrophe. It's an utter catastrophe. And those who... Good. That's exactly what we need. I mean, I wish it were, because I don't see anybody hurting. I look out my window and I walk to the store and I talk to my neighbors, and nobody's lost their house. Nobody's... this picture he's painting, actually, it hasn't happened yet. I think it will. Do I hope it will? I would rather just scare people. I mean, it's like somebody's, doing something on your property. You'd rather just scare them. You don't really want to shoot them, but at the same time, if you have to, you have to. I don't want to, but if it takes Trump just fucking these people in the ass as hard as he can to get them, and who knows, that may not even... I mean, we have a history in our country of such stupidity on a massive level. The masses just totally, and I don't blame them, they're propagandized. Lamestream media, all that stuff. Who are poorest, those who are already most oppressed and most vulnerable, are the ones who are suffering most as a result. And we ain't seen nothing yet. They're just getting started. Now with Gorsuch coming on the Supreme Court, and with the possibility that the legislative filibuster in the Senate will be abolished, as well as the Supreme Court filibuster.
I think we're about done with his filibuster, because here I see on here that he goes on for another 6 minutes or 3 minutes before somebody finally comes in and lets Assange have a word. And this Clinton Democrat, I mean, we'll watch the last few seconds of him rambling
two,
on.
The Democratic establishment discredited themselves, and they have to be removed and replaced by the Democratic base.
Julian,
well, at least he got the very end right.
I'd like to also, if you can, talk about, you've mentioned it numerous times, the existence of the deep state and what the relationship...
Okay, they're going to be moving on. We'll talk about the deep state some other time. That's my expertise. I'm very much into conspiracy research. I've been forced to call it that since we got people like Alex Jones calling themselves conspiracy theorists. The only great conspiracy theorist is Jesse Ventura. You know, he's been dead on from the very beginning. And I suggest you watch him as much as you can, especially when he comes out on RT this summer, which should be any time. His show should be starting up on RT. I'm sure it's going to be. And I'll just mention real quick, I mean, these are the shows to watch, okay? Democracy Now!, The Young Turks, The Jimmy Dore Show, and on RT, a lot of crap, a lot of Russian bullshit, but don't ever miss some of the stuff on there, like who's the comedian? Oh, I can't think of his name. Mind block. Well, if you don't know who the Russian comedian is on RT, he's a great guy. Now, and we'll be seeing, of course, Jesse Ventura on there, and there's a couple other really good shows, American shows, not Russian, and there's just a lot of good news out here. I mean, you can watch Al Jazeera. Yeah, it's going to be biased, and they get paid off quite a bit. You have to know your shit when you watch these different networks. I mean, I can even watch Fox News because I know when they're bullshitting me, but I wouldn't advise it to somebody who is not at least half the expert I am in all these areas. Okay, well, good luck with your fishing through all this polluted waters of politics and the news. And I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.